Hello, everybody. I hope you were able to finish the work from this week because I did create a quizzes that guided you through the answers. I may reopen those because someone has been asking, and I think a few people did not do theirs completely. But if you follow those quizzes, you should be able to finish those activities. So today there's a similar activity with solving and graphing inequalities. And I just kept it simple because I know I'm not there to help you guys through with the big part of solving these. But when I come back, we'll kind of spend a day to try to get it caught up with at least you understanding how to do it. But we're going to be solving and graphing inequalities. There's two things that you need to write down on your paper to remind you when you're solving inequalities. First thing is you do not want to change the inequality to an equal sign. That tends to happen when we're just used to solving equations. We get rid of our inequality symbol and make it into an equation. You don't want to do that. Another thing is here's the difference between solving inequalities and equations is if you multiply or divide both sides of the inequality by a negative number, you must flip the inequality symbol. So when you're solving and you have to multiply or divide both sides of the inequality by a negative number, that's going to make the inequality symbol change. And it's only when you're multiplying or dividing by a negative number. So you'll see in an example. I'm pretty sure there'll be an example on this paper where you would have to do that for. But before we go into solving, let's review the inequality symbols. So you see, write those down. You have the less than symbol. It's like an arrow that points to the left. In order to graph that, you use an open circle and you shade to the left because numbers that are less than a particular number would be to the left of that number. So it makes sense to shade to the left. This symbol is similar to that one. It just has the equals to line underneath it. So it's called the less than or equals to symbol. For this one, it can be equals to the number. So that's why you use a shaded dot or a closed dot and you shade to the left. Greater than or equals, it's like the flip of the less than or equals. It's pointing to the right and it has a line, an equal line underneath it. You have a closed dot and you shade to the right. And then greater than doesn't have the line underneath. You use an open dot and shade to the right. So those are the different ways of graphing. You would want to write that down because there's an IXL that's very quick and easy. If you have this written down, you'll be able to do that first IXL easily. Again, the IXLs are simple too. I didn't make those difficult. It'll give you the basic understanding, and then from there, I'll kind of catch you guys up to where I need you to be. Oh, and then also, I've posted the key for your homework 1.4 and 1.8. So go back and make sure that you fill in your answers for those, especially the ones from this week, because those are some very, very multi-step equations, and you want to have those copied in. I hope you didn't stress out too much about getting those copied in, but I did post those for you guys as well. So that's what your assignment is today, and you just do your best to try to get those done. If you didn't get most of the stuff done for this week, please go back and do those because you should have been able to do them because I did spend the time to create quizzes to guide you through them. All right, guys, y'all have a nice day and a nice weekend. All right, so let's look at what you have to do on this activity. I'm going to do a few, and it's just like a matching activity. Really, it was a digital copy, but I didn't want to get us into doing things digitally because it's kind of challenging. So you will want to take your sheet of paper. You'll have your notebook paper where you'll be solving these out. And then this is where your answers are. So you see to the side, you're going to get one of these as your answer as an inequality. And you're going to see what the graph is as well. So for example, number one, let me just go to the side of the paper. And these are basic one-step inequalities. So on your notebook paper, you're going to make sure you number the problem and you're going to write it down. You just get your sheet of paper to do this on. And Remember that first thing that we wrote on the front? This is how we're going to help ourselves not make our inequality into an equal sign by putting a wall around it so that we be very careful when we're solving. So you solve it just like you do a one-step equation. You undo what they did by doing the opposite. And we want to make sure we do not change our inequality to an equal sign. You get x is greater than. So if you go back to that first page, which it should be on the front of your paper because they're on the same page, you'll see that this is the greater than symbol. So on your number line, where you find 9, you should have an open dot and it'll be shaded to the right. So we're going to make sure that we see that in our matching, and we're going to copy that down. Okay, so you see that there. Did I change my variable? I think they may have put y is, oh no, they got it right there. You see it, it's right here. So we'll write down, we'll use that. Let me zoom out so that we can see. So here's what you'll write. You'll write the answer. Oh, sorry guys, I made a mistake here. In my mind, I did the work, but then on the paper, it didn't happen. It's a 5. 9 minus 4 is 5. I was talking and writing at the same time. So we get the answer. So that shows you what will happen if you don't see your answer here. You know something is wrong. So let's just mark it out so that we know we've already used that one. Won't be double using them. And then we're going to find the one that matches. We're just going to copy. See how they just give you 2. They give you 3 numbers on the number line. That's fine. And then they do an open dot and shade. So you're pretty much copying over, and you're going to mark it out because you won't be using that one again. Okay, so you get the idea. You're solving, you're finding your answers. You should find your answers to the right. If you don't, you do like I did. See the mistake that you made, correct it, and you should see your answers there. So that's how you would do that. I'm going to skip on to try to give you one that I'm going to do actually 2 from this next one. Okay, so again, you're on your sheet of paper and you're going to write down the problem. On your notebook paper, you're going to make sure you number the problems, and then you're going to solve it. So this is just like a basic one-step equation. Just the only difference is the inequality. You would have to divide by 2. You get y is less than 7. So y is less than 7. We'll find it. We see it right there. So I know I did something right because I see my answer. And you're going to mark it out. And then we also need to find the graph that matches that. And we're going to copy it down. So you draw your little number line, put the numbers that they put. And it'll be an open circle, shade to the left because it's less than, and you'll mark it out. Okay? All right, I need to do this next one because this is going to show you what that golden rule is about multiplying or dividing both sides by a negative number. So notice we had to divide that last problem by positive number on both sides. So I didn't mention anything about that rule that you just wrote on the front of your paper. But on this one, when I solve it, I'm going to have to multiply by a negative number on both sides of the inequality. This is when you flip that symbol. So this symbol is now going to flip because when I solved this inequality, I had to solve it by multiplying by a negative number. And that rule is saying that when you do that, this is what's going to happen. The symbol will flip. So that's the only big difference between solving equations and inequalities. So again, we're going to find that symbol. And notice if I didn't flip it, I would not see the correct answer here. So then you know, hey, maybe I forgot to flip something. Or so you have your answers to guide you. And then you can see even the graphs, you wouldn't see them there. And you'll copy it as best as you can. And you'll mark it out. All right. Ones for you guys to complete. The last one, I'm not going to do one from that one because I've pretty much done the ones that you need in order to do well with them. So they only give you the graph or the answer. So you see it's different from the other 2 pages. So you'll either find the answer as an inequality or the answer as a graph. Because you see these are not the same because this is a closed dot. This would be an open dot. So these two don't go together. You'll just say, hey, the answer to number 1 is x is less than negative, that would be a 16. And so you see that the graph is here, but the inequality is not here. So you'll just copy down the graph, okay, on that one. So that's what your assignment is for today. And then after that, you have some IXLs. Those IXLs are very simple.